Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Mike with Mike's Car Hole. It's been a little while since I've done an update. Going to take my old C10 out to, I actually use it as a truck occasionally. I'll show you. I know I go to a lot of car shows and I get accused by old guys of ruining my grandpa's truck. But what I will say, it is my truck. I'm gonna do what I want, and I still use this thing as a truck. So it still gets used quite frequently as a truck. I just don't drive it in the winter because out here in Virginia they put crap on the road that eats well, just any car, really, not just old cars. But so it doesn't get driven in the winter, and it's also too hot really to drive in the summer. So yeah, just figured I'd give you a quick update. What's going on. I'm still working on the Jeep, which I should have some content on that here pretty soon, and I've been kind of messing around with doing reels, just trying to grow my base and get more comfortable. I'll end up throwing this on the video and chatting a little bit about the Suburban. I did end up buying that Suburban. It's still a little bit out before I can get it, so that one will be featured here on the channel soon. And I also did sell the Rebel. That thing's been gone for about a month or so. So once the Suburban comes in, the Suburban's basically replacing the Rebel. All right. I'm just on my way to the dump, but I figured I'd chat a little bit about the truck. I've never really talked about this thing all that much. I just do a couple little videos here and there, but figured it'd give me a chance to talk about this truck and some of the origins of it. So I ended up getting this truck, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember exactly. It was my uncle's truck, and before that it was my grandpa Guy's truck. This truck pretty much spent its whole life in Washington State and Oregon, which is where I'm originally from, Washington State. Or at least where I grew up anyways. Technically I was born in the Carolinas, but so anyways, I bought it a couple of years ago. My uncle had it, and when he had it, he bought it, I guess, in '91 from my grandpa Guy, and he drove it around for quite a while, and then in around 2000 he didn't necessarily do a bolt-off restoration, but he pulled the engine, refreshed it. I think it's bored 40 over. It's got aluminum heads in it, and then he had it painted. So this color obviously isn't the original color. This color came off of a say it's a 2000, it's like a 99 or 2000 Subaru. So they're a forest green that they had on their Outbacks. So it was painted back then in 2000, and basically got a refresh. So when I got it, it had been 14-15 years since all the refresh, and then I've done quite a bit with it. You know, one of the first things I did for it was, it used to have like I call it the Lego rear bumper, but the kind of an ugly steel rear bumper. So I took that off. It was still sitting on at the factory ride height, so I always knew I was going to lower it. I had one of these when I was a kid. I had a '69 C10 when I was a kid, and I had a 292 in it, straight 6, and 3-speed with the granny gear. Love that truck, but when I had that truck, I slammed that one as well. But I was a broke teenager, so I did it very, very cheaply. So this truck, I decided I wanted to do a little different. I ended up doing a 6-7 drop, so went down 7 inches in the back and 6 up front. For the back, I ended up doing a flip kit and a 2-inch drop shackle, so it gave me 7 inches of drop in the back, and it's got drop shocks on it as well. And then the front, I went a little different with it. I did a 3-inch drop spindle, and I also did a 3-inch drop lower control arm. kept all my steering and all my geometry exactly the same up front. It's still the original coil that came in this truck. Never cut the coil or anything. I did have to get rid of the inner fenders. It was too low. I was rubbing with that, so that was something that I had to do. And then I also got these rims. Like, I like them. I like this 5-spoke design. This isn't going to be the wheels I'm going to have forever. It's just the design and the size and all that I like. So once I finally get the truck all done, then I will switch to the rim that I want. These are just very affordable. They're the Riddler 695s, and they're staggered. So it's a 20 by 9 up front and 20 by, I want to say it's 12. It could be 10, but I think it's 12 out back. And so yeah, I got these wheels just so when I got my ride height, because I tended to do a static drop, which I did. So I got all the wheels and everything all situated, lowered it, and I've just been kind of working out. The tire size up front I got to address a little bit. The tire size I got is just, I think, one too big. So I'll be changing that before too long. And the front tires need to be replaced too. Just with it being lowered, it's eating up the inside tire tread. So I don't really take this thing on very long trips anymore. And yeah, it's still had, you know, I don't have EFI. It's 650 Holly, or Edelbrock carb, I mean, not Holly. And I don't know, it's been estimated, I'm gonna have to take it to the dyno. It's been estimated that this truck's got some pretty decent horsepower, and it feels like it, but it's only putting power to one wheel, so you know, I don't exactly know. I think when the Suburban comes in, I'll probably get a better idea of that, what the actual power is on this thing. But at some point in time, I intend to put a posi track on the back of it. There's a few other things that I plan to do with this truck down the road. Well, that'll be it for right now. So I got it all cleaned out. I'm going to turn the exhaust down a little bit. I'll talk about that in a second. It's a little quieter. So yeah, after I got it from my uncle, I like to joke that I took the grandpa off of it. It wasn't really grandpa truck, but it was my grandpa's truck. But as far as it being a grandpa's truck, it was a little different from even when my uncle got it. He did, like I said, he did quite a bit to it. So some of the plans for this thing in the future, I might bag this thing. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. It will need a new frame before too long. So if I end up having to replace the frame on this truck, I will more than likely bag it. I kind of have that West Coast flavor where I like things low, and I'd say slow, but this is probably the slowest thing in my driveway. Maybe my wife's Volkswagen. And then I also intend to paint this. It's going to go back to a two-tone. It's going to be pretty close to the original color that this thing had. That really ugly green from the 70s is what this thing used to be. But I intend to paint it Millennium Jade, which is a color off of a GTR. Which is really close actually to the original color that this thing was. So I intend to go with that with the two-tone, and it's going to be white with Cadillac Pearl White. So be the Millennium Jade and the Cadillac Pearl White. There's a couple things on this truck I have to replace, like one of the fenders on the front. The battery had leaked a bunch of acid over in the corner for 50 years. So the front corner of the fender needs to be replaced, but a couple, I don't know, I'd say 6 months to a year ago, my dad went to a shop in Kentucky, where it's like a C10 graveyard, and picked me up a new fender. So I'll get that thing cleaned up at some point in time, put on this truck. Probably wait more or less until I'm getting closer to painting it. And I think I might, when I lower it down, I may lift the bed floor up, and I might switch it from a steel floor to a wooden floor. I haven't really made that choice yet. That'll just be something I think about in the future. I'm not 100% sure that's a route I'm going to go. And then as far as this goes, I mean, there's lots of little stuff I'm going to do here and there. This interior's needing a complete refresh, but there is a little bit of rot in the floor. I got to replace some floor pan. I wanted the braces first, so I haven't really dove into that yet. The only thing I've replaced in here is the mirror and the one with the wood grain steering wheel. So I mean, that's pretty much it for the Chevy. Although, I guess I can explain the exhaust. So it's got electric cutouts, and I just have a little toggle switch that I can open it up or close it. I drive around town quite a bit with it open just because I like the sound. And then when I had that installed, I had them I took it to a custom exhaust shop, and they ran stainless steel exhaust from the headers back. My headers, they're kind of cheapies. I intend to replace them. I just was trying to get my exhaust all taken care of so I could. The real reason I was in somewhat of a rush was I wanted to bring my son home from the hospital in this truck. So I kind of had to rush a little bit. Like the headers, they're okay, like I said, but I'll replace them at some point in time with stainless as well. But from the headers back, it's stainless steel. It's got an H pipe, and then the electric cutouts. So it sounds pretty good. I can open it up real quick. Hear the difference. Sounds pretty good. I enjoy it. I'm gonna turn that back off. I'm pulling back up. My kid's sleeping, so. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for the C10. Now onto the Suburban. So my video where I was C10 shopping from a month ago, I ended up buying that Suburban. It's all paid for. The interior's what's holding it up. They're doing black leather and suede with red stitching for the seats, and he's replacing the carpet. So I'm waiting on that to get accomplished. They said that their leather order's on back order or something, so they're still waiting. So it could be another 2, 3, 4 weeks before I see that thing, but when it comes in, it'll have fresh seats and carpet. I will have to replace the door panels and the headliner and the dash. If I remember right, that dash had like old man carpet or something on it. So I'll be replacing that. I learned a little bit more about the engine, and I talked to one of the speed shops here in town, because I've read online about the heads that are on that 60 LS. They said it's like putting 305 heads on your 350, and so it somewhat concerned me. But it's the 862 heads that are on that 60 LS. Came out of a Cadillac Escalade, and it's got a 4L65E trans in that Suburban. So it will be fun to drive, just learning everything. I think there was some issues, not issues, but some cosmetic things I didn't like with the wiring, so I'm going to probably address that as well. But I will eventually get that Suburban here, and that will be pretty featured on my channel. So, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned in. There'll be more stuff cool in the future. Thank you.